had some students who were from China and other students who were from Japan, and it was really difficult to get them together, to mingle them, because Chinese people didn't have a problem. Those who were Japanese.
So the Japanese are the arrogant ones.
Yes.
Right, right. That's their upbringing. You know, that stuff lives in the family. You know, I mean, that's if I'm not mistaken, right? Those things are like so deep. You know, the racism or ethnocentrism, etc., is deeply rooted to the point that the people are not really conscious that they're, you know, arrogant or racist. That's just the way life is presented to them as children, so they just continue on that track.
Exactly.
That's my experience, yeah.
Yes, that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. As well as it is to be able to accept that Ecuador is a multicultural, multi-ethnical country which presents an incredible variety of possibilities of combinations of culture, of education here, and people are very reluctant to accept it and understand that even in a very small territory as the one we have here, a very small land we have here.
Relatively.
Yes, exactly. It is really interesting to see with all of the geographical differences we have, the weather, the winds, and all of the possibilities we have. Not only animals are allowed to have so many different species, but we are one of the species there, and with so many variations according to the geography, according to our ancestors and culture and education and interaction with other people and situations we have around. But it's really interesting to consider all of those possibilities and not be, how can I put it, rejectant to or reluctant to the situation that there is a fact that if you see a white person, why not to admit this is a white person and not a mestizo? And if you see a black person, to admit this is a black person.
To be realistic.
To be realistic,
honest,
yes, to be honest. Right. Because here is like a taboo to talk about who is an indigenous person and who is a mestizo, and now to make a certain kind of equilibrium, everybody is supposed to be a mestizo, but this is not real. No,
it's not factual. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. As well as not everyone is an indigenous here, even if they are dressing like with typical clothes and everything. Here at the university, I have some students who come from Cañar, and they are dressing like Cañaris, but you see their faces. Some of them are basically indigenous with their features of their faces, but so many others are whiter than many other white people from the city.
It's an incredible situation, yeah.
Right, and you see them, and here with the very white people or mestizos or whatever you want to call them, the thing is that you see their eyebrows so thick, and you see their mustaches and hair and their features with long thin noses and probably green eyes, that they would look more like I don't know, Egyptians or Arabic people more than Ecuadorians. So it's really interesting to consider all of those possibilities. And even at the time that you are teaching Chinese or Japanese people how to speak Spanish, you would face exactly the same problems in certain conditions you have. That, for example, when you go to the market and you talk to people down in 10 de Agosto market, for instance, you are going to find that their pronunciation, their accent, their mistakes in speaking Spanish are exactly the same errors that you are going to find while teaching Spanish to Japanese or Chinese or Asian people in general, which is really interesting.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. For me, it was a surprise in the beginning that it was like, no, this cannot be possible. It's completely...
Are you saying that less educated Cuencanos, Cuencanas, is that what you're saying?
I am not saying less educated. I am just saying with a different culture. So the thing is that...
Or lower class, perhaps?
Different social class, yes, they do have their own education, they do have their own beliefs and culture. They do not attend to regular schools, they go to the schools in the country, and probably they know much more about many other things that people from the city, we don't know about that. For instance, how to see the seeds in the country, how to harvest,
right.
or I don't know, how to use many other words, and a combination of Quechua and Spanish that we use here in the city, but we are not exactly aware of the meaning they have. Or, yeah.
Word like cunchi or chunchi for chancho, ¿cómo es que dicen? Chuchi?
Cuchi.
Cuchi, yeah.
Right, exactly.
So they have their own kind of like sub-language, or...
Definitely, they do, and it's according to the different areas of the city where you go to that you're going to find different dialects,
you could say, yeah, or
exactly.
when I said sub-languages, immediately, like half a minute after I said it, I realized that calling it a sub-language is a what we call in the power dimension something like it's like a put-down, you know. It's
right.
saying it's sub, but it's not sub. It's just different. It's just
like
a
another
division,
drawer. A smaller
you know.
Division of
it's a
broader classification.
Compartmentalization of sorts.
Right, exactly. In social linguistics, you have that division, and it varies a lot. Yes. So, for example, if you are going to talk to people from New York, you are going to find an incredible amount of languages. You are the best person to talk about that.
More or less, yeah. Whereas the Bronx accent, the Queens accent, those are the strongest ones, you know. Like in the Bronx, right. Say the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. And they'll say the Bronx, you know.
Right.
If you go to Boston, they talk very sophisticated and all. Oh, it's right. Fascinating. It's the same thing. It's a human phenomenon. It happens everywhere,
right.
I'm sure. You know?
Exactly.
I mean,
even my cousin, who is from the U.S., and she was living for a long time in New York, she told me, if you're going to take a bus and you want to go to the 13th Street, you are never going to listen to the bus driver, the 13th Street, but the Floyd Street. So, I would have never imagined that thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
One last question. Let me see, I had something interesting. What do you think? It's really like, you know, itching me. You know, what do you think is the real situation with English being taught to Ecuadorians in our case? You know, because we teach here at the university. Do you think that English is really needed, and why? And you know, can we spend a few minutes on that one and
Sure.
wrap it up? Go ahead. No rush. Take your time.
I think that basically in our society at the present time, English is a very important developer of facilities for people. For instance, a person who speaks English is able to access a better position, a better job. This person is also able to access to the internet. I just made this experiment one day that some students here in the same office asked to me, why do we have to learn English? We want to be teachers for school. We don't need to teach English. We only need to teach many other subjects, history, natural science, social sciences, and those kind of things. So why do we need English for? And I just turned the screen of the computer and told them, okay, ask me a question, any question you want, and we will Google that word or that phrase that you want to find out about, and we will do it in Spanish. Well, we did it. I don't remember what was the thing we looked for, but in 26 seconds of search, it produced something like 7,300 results for that question. And then we did exactly the same thing, but setting the word in English. So the thing is that we got, in half of the time, it was 13 seconds, the double or the triple. No, it was much more. It was millions. It was something like 23 million
That's
something.
a beautiful example. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Yeah, that's a great little bit of data. Yeah.